Hey guys, I'm making this video as a service to the Spyder community. I was not able to find a video on how to install the Baha Ron Sway Bar on a Can-Am Spyder F3, so here it is. Just keep in mind I'm not a mechanic, professional mechanic, or videographer, so have mercy. I'm only doing this to serve the community. Hopefully it helps some people and gives you an idea that actually you could do this on your own. Granted, you can get a jack. So watch the whole video first because I made a few mistakes which you can learn from what not to do as well. Jacking it up 22 inches off the ground is possibly the biggest challenge or barricade you might have. If I had the proper jack or lift, I actually think I probably would be able to tackle it on my own, but I went to a friend's house who had some larger jacks that I could use, so you might need to do that too. The cost was $288 US, including shipping, is what I paid. I'm in Canada, and I got mine from CanAmSpyderAccessories.com, and that includes shipping. How does it work and would I recommend it? Well, it's not a miracle device. For the last year, I've heard and read over and over again, it made my Spyder turn on rails, and all kinds of extraordinary statements like this. It's the first thing I do and did, and blah blah blah, and going on and on and on and on and on. Of course, with that kind of hype up, as you can imagine, I was in fact disappointed. It took me a little while to get over the fact that I wasn't magically, turned this into the ultimate vehicle. But yes, so far, after maybe 3-4 hours on it, it is better. Definitely better. I think it increases the ability to not sway as much as the old system, for sure. I'm doing more and more testing, and then after a while I'm going to jump back on my second Spyder that doesn't have it just to compare it, because it's one of those things that maybe there's a placebo effect. So at first, certainly for the first while, I thought, man, if you didn't tell me that you switched it out and I wasn't looking for it, I might not notice it. Of course, I'll probably get a lot of comments saying, well, I don't know how the heck you were driving, but I do consider myself a fairly aggressive driver. So, doing things like saying, hey, let's see just how darn fast I can take this turn without flipping it over. But anyways, yes, it's better. Don't think of it as a miracle device. And with that said, would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it, but perhaps not as the very first thing you upgrade, because maybe you're not rich and can do every single thing. Because at 288 US dollars, anyways, here in Canada, that works out to about 350 Canadian. And of course, if you're getting it installed, paying 125 an hour, they'll probably charge you 2 hours. That's another 250 Canadian. So 4, 5, 6, you're at 600 plus tax, 650 Canadian dollars to get this done, 650. So that'll shock some Americans, but that's what we're looking at here. I would recommend it in its proper place in upgrade order. So for example, I personally would recommend if you don't have a windshield, put your money into a windshield first, or maybe a backrest. Those are some things I definitely needed. I would even recommend belt tensioner ahead of this, because those three things I just mentioned are things that actually solve problems. And the money you invest in it solves these problems, wind blowing in your face or the vibration or whatever. Whereas this isn't more of an upgrade. I basically, bottom line, felt the old Sway Bar did a decent job, along with my Fox shocks. But yeah, this is an upgrade. So you know what? If money doesn't grow on trees for you, maybe do some other things first. Maybe even some luggage storage on your bike solves problems ahead of actually upgrading the performance. So with that said, I'm going to jump right into it. It shouldn't take too long. Sorry this intro was so long. Okay, after getting it jacked up, step one is to remove these splash guards. 3 Torx screws, and then a push pin where you unscrew a Phillips style lightly and then pop it out. Rather annoying. Step 4, which says remove the plastic cover, part number 55, does not seem to exist on my 2015 Spyder F3S, so we'll skip it. Okay, next step, 13mm bolts, removing the actual link and putting on the new ones. Yeah. Okay, the next step is to put the new link in using the old bolt. And you're going to put these spacers tapered side in, okay? on each side. So kind of like that, tapered side in. I think this is going to be a real challenge. Let's give it a go.
Okay, attach the spacer to each side of.
Okay, these bolts here are called Sway Bar channel stiffeners, just for context. And to take them out, there's a bolt on each side. This is a 10 mil. And I couldn't quite get to the bolt head from the other side, so we're taking out this Torx nut. That side is already out. Show what it looks like if you pull it down. Can you reach that thing and just show what it'll look like? Okay.
I'm on it now.
All right, so that's being held by the wrench behind, unscrewing. I got it out, and there was a spacer on it as well that came out. Okay, at this point, we're going to remove bolts. We're going to remove bolts that hold this thing in. Here's a bolt. Right there, and one on the other side of it, in order to take that out, that block. There's a much better view. Hey, stop turning. This is what it looks like trying to get it out at 16 inches. 16 inches height, you won't get it out. They say 24 inches, so we're about to get it up there. Okay, in the process of trying to get it up 2 feet in the air.
Okay, keep trying to wiggle your sway bar.
Okay, 24 inches, 2 feet is a lot higher than you think it is. This is
make sure I'm not pulling it forward on the jack stand stays.
Yep, looks good.
Hold on, I gotta go down my.
Okay, we needed 21 inches to get it high enough, and it just goes up and in. And now we're gonna lower it to work on it for safety.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah, just watch the.
Now it's time to install the new blocks in there, and not that way, but the other way, that way. Okay, I just got the bolt back in for the block, and for that thing has a special name. It's a bit tricky, and then I put that thing back in, and now it's time to work on this link. So it's going to be spacers in there, and that's the sway bar. Just a note from back before, that thing goes, this black represents the inside of there, goes in. Okay, fixing one problem. You see that's loose?
So you see how that's.
I had actually tightened my side first, and he started installing the link before we realized, we didn't read ahead,
Okay,
that you need to get this spaced out left and right correctly.
We want to make
Stay
sure.
tuned. Okay, so it's been tightened on there, and to make sure it's perfectly center, left and right, we made sure that those were hanging down perfectly vertical. I mean, I suppose you could make some sort of measurement in millimeters or inches, but we eyed it so that those appear to be hanging perfectly vertical on both sides. And then after that, now we are going back and retightening the bolt that tightens this part. Don't do that first like I did. You tighten it until you can feel a little dimple along here. You can actually feel it. It's hard to see on the video. I think you can see there the shadow.
Install and tighten both.
Splash guard's back on. Just figured out why I had the trouble getting it apart. There was a Torx bolt over here, which I did not see. It's really hard to see. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is a not a Torx bolt. You'll see what it is in a minute.
Black bolt.
Okay, got the
The original one.
shields back on. Time to take her down and give it a try.